A lot to consider at the moment. For that, we bring in Senator Tom Cotton, Republican from Arkansas. You're first up with your analysis and reaction. Thank you for being here today. Bear in mind, this was the tail end of a NATO summit, foreign policy on his mind for the past 3 days. You said after the press conference, Biden's criticism of Israel, without even mentioning the hostages, was disgraceful. Where is his campaign this morning, do you think, Senator?
Well, his campaign is where it's been for a long time, on the way to losing, because he's a weak, failed president. I know the media likes to highlight President Biden's malapropisms and misstatements after covering them up for 4 years. And we've only seen from the media the last 2 weeks or so since the debate them highlighting what we've all been able to see, that Joe Biden has declined significantly with age. But even if he were 25 years younger and vigorous and energetic, he would still be a weak, failed president because of what you saw on display last night. Take Israel. He blamed Israel for the lack of peace, when if Hamas would simply surrender and return the hostages, there would be peace. He didn't even mention the hostages to include American hostages. He demanded a two-state solution, which would create a kind of terror statelet on Israel's borders. Or consider what he said up front in his opening remarks about immigration, that he's got the border secure, when we still have hundreds of thousands of migrants crossing our border every single month. Or what he said about inflation, that prices are going down. Prices are not going down. Prices are still up over 20% under Joe Biden, with families struggling to pay for their groceries or pay for gas. The rate of inflation may have slowed down since its peak a couple years ago, but it's still higher than the normal target, which means prices are still going up. For all these reasons and more, Joe Biden is a failed president. That's why the American people are ready to return Donald Trump to the White House.
Get your take on the NATO portion. Here's President Biden talking about how he is better for Europe than Trump.
I'm not having any of my European allies come up to me and say, Joe, don't run. What I hear them say is, you've got to win. You can't let this guy come forward. He'd be a disaster. He'd be a disaster. I think I'm the best qualified person to do the job, to make sure that Ukraine does not fall, that Ukraine succeeds, that the European alliance stays strong.
What have you heard from European leaders about the NATO summit?
I know the first thing European leaders are probably saying is what Americans are saying. Why is this guy whispering all the time? But second, you just have to look at the records, Dana. Under President Trump, we had 4 years of peace and stability. I've noticed that Vladimir Putin only invades Ukraine when Democrats are president. First Barack Obama and now Joe Biden. And then for 2+ years, Joe Biden has pussyfooted around and let this war in Ukraine go longer than it should have. If we had just provided them the weapons they needed from the very beginning to defend their own territory, then this war could have been over at much less cost to the Ukrainian people and at much less expense for its Western allies. President Trump, once back in office, will do what he did the first time around. He will ensure that we have peace and stability around the world, and he will protect America's vital national security interests in Europe, in the Middle East, in Asia, and elsewhere.
Yeah. Quickly on the VP pick, we assume it's going to happen in the days to come. I'm wondering what you think about why the strategy to wait so long would be, and how that might benefit President Trump. And do you think that his pick even knows today who that pick will be?
Well, I know we've had a lot of speculation, Bill, for many months, but it's all coming to an end. I suspect the president will make his choice public in the next day or two. That's roughly the same timeline in 2016 when he announced that he had selected Mike Pence. I don't know who he's going to choose, but I'm confident that it's going to be a good choice, not just for him, the ticket, but more importantly for the country, and that the Republican Party under President Trump, and hopefully with a Republican Congress, will begin to reverse the damage of 4 years of the Biden-Harris debacle.
Tom Cotton, thank you. Great to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.